18 is a magical age for most youth, but not for foster children. At 18, foster children are kicked out of the system to fend for themselves. In Miami alone, there are 125 such youth. Of the 125, 22% will be homeless for one day. 1 in 4 will experience PTSD. Endless Possibilities helps these foster children become independent by offering job training, marketable skills, and real jobs. With Endless Possibilities, the possibilities are endless.
Endless Possibilities is an LLC. It serves as a full service dog training, boarding, and grooming facility that hires foster care children about to age out of the foster care system. By working with Endless Possibilities, we are providing the youth with marketable job skills for their future. Good evening. My name is Diane Piñate. I'm President and CEO of Endless Possibilities. Frida Holler is Vice President and CMO. Michael Haynes is CFO and CIO. Yvette Almaguer is CCO and COO. 28,000 children, foster care children nationally, will age out of foster care this year. Out of those 28,000 foster care children, 125 can be found in Miami-Dade County, Florida. Of the 125 in Miami-Dade County, Florida, 22% will be homeless for at least one day. Research shows that interaction between dogs and people have physiological and psychological benefits. For example, physiological, it lowers blood pressure, and people that have suffered heart attacks tend to live longer. Psychological, it reduces depression, it teaches patience and commitment, and it also produces long-term behavior changes. How can Endless Possibilities help these foster children? The foster children come to work at Endless Possibilities, and they learn to groom and handle the dogs. They learn how to train and manage. They learn customer care skills as well as organizational skills, and they learn to have ethical work habits and social responsibility. While they're doing this, they're also gaining sales experience. The services that Endless Possibilities provides are doggy daycare, slumber party, which is boarding, grooming, and training. The training that Endless Possibilities offers, and it's the youth that are training the dogs, are both individual and group obedience training. The service dog aspect of the training is to help disabled persons with tasks that they cannot do for themselves, and also provide medical alert, and also psychiatric and emotional support. So it will help people that have PTSD, as well as children that have autism, and give them comfort. And now let's see what's happening in the market.
Esteemed judges, professor, and ladies and gentlemen, Endless Possibilities' main business is in pet care, and the outlook for this market is very bright indeed. According to the American Pet Products Association, there are 65% of U.S. households own pets, and the total pet expenditure in 2016 is projected to reach over $62 billion. And even though that most of the expenditure goes to pet food, spending on training and boarding will reach almost $6 billion this year. And in the Miami-Dade County, ladies and gentlemen, there are over 300,000 homes with dogs. And within a 5-mile radius of Endless Possibilities location, there are around or over 9,000 homes with dogs, and this number funnels down to our target market of almost 3%. And because Endless Possibilities will train foster care children to become dog trainers and service professionals, we also look into the job prospects in the pet care industry. And as you can see from the chart, the U.S. Bureau of Labor forecasts until 2024, until the year 2024, an 11% faster than average growth in employment for animal service professionals and dog trainers. Now we're going to look at our competition. As you can see from the slide, PetSmart, one of the largest U.S. retailers of pet care products, is one of our competitors, and they do offer training and boarding. And like our other competitors, they either only have training and boarding, or they only offer daycare and grooming. Unlike us, Endless Possibilities, we are more of a full-service dog care business, offering training, boarding, daycare, and grooming. And most important of all, we are one of the very few dog care businesses that actually can be considered a socially responsible enterprise. And next, we'll take a look at our operations.
Okay, so how are we going to do this? We're going to hire foster care children between the ages of 16 and 18 that are going to age out of the system. We are going to train them on how to groom dogs, how to handle a spa, how to properly train the dogs, how to offer boarding, how to offer the daycare. By offering these children these different trainings, we're providing them with lifelong marketable job skills that will allow them to be self-sufficient and allow them to have opportunities for the rest of their lives. At the same time, we're going to be working with rescue dogs. So we will go to the shelters and rescue dogs, in which we will train them on obedience and then specialize them in different types of trainings and services based on their personalities, on their characteristics, and their abilities. Once we have these service dogs trained, we will be selling them to individuals who require service dogs for various reasons. If an individual cannot afford to purchase a service dog because they are very expensive, then we will, if they meet our criteria, donate the service dog to them. For every 5 service dogs that we sell, we will provide one of our trainees with a college scholarship, allowing them to obtain a college degree. So we have the trainees and the foster children learning the life skills. We have the dogs being able to be trained and find a home. Meanwhile, as all this process is underway, they are providing therapy to one another because they have one common thing. They've both been abandoned, both the children and the dogs, and they help each other out because with the dogs, there's no walls that need to be up. The therapy is immediate. So how's it gonna work? Well, you will call up our center, go onto our website, or just show up and sign your dog up for a service. Once the dog arrives, the dog will be inspected to make sure that there's no lesions or he's not injured or that he's in optimal shape. If we find anything, we will document it on the inspection document. The person who's dropped off the dog will sign off on it as well, and one of our trainees will come and get the dog. If the trainee has been fully trained on the service that the dog is signed up for, then they will perform the service on the dog. If they are not fully trained, then they will take the dog to work with another fully trained individual or with one of the specialists and continue their training. Once the dog is done with their service, they'll be taken to a waiting area, And the training individual will go in and on their iPad note that the dog, his service is complete. From there, they will verify if there's any other services that the dog is waiting for. If they are, they'll make sure that the dog is scheduled on time and the dog can just stay in the play area waiting. If the dog is finished with all the services it's been signed up for, then the dog will be returned to their owner. So how are we going to get this business out there? Through our marketing. We are going to market through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are going to use our website and have search engine optimization. One of our major strategies is Groupon. We believe that through Groupons, we will be able to bring in a lot of clients. We plan on working with República, one of the fastest growing marketing firms in South Florida, for them to help us identify what is the best go-to-market strategy to optimize our services and bring in the most clientele. Another thing that for us is very important is our reputation. One of the best ways to get our business out there is through happy, satisfied customers. When they're happy and they're satisfied with the job we've done, they will tell their friends and families and recommend our business. Another thing that's really going to help us is our location, because the visibility will allow individuals to see where we are and see what we are.
So I'm going to let you guys tilt your head this way now so you don't get a stiff neck. I like to work from this side. So our location is just north of the Palmetto, between two major avenues, 57th and 67th Ave. It is facing the Palmetto, so all that traffic going by will see our signage every day. It's 3,100 square feet of office and warehouse space, and the location has the bus stops right there on the corner so that the foster care youth have a way to get to the business for their job. We have a good lease on this property. It's $2,600 a month, and as we noted earlier, there's like 9,700 households with dogs within 5 miles of our location. So let's talk a little bit about our numbers. So we have 5 revenue streams. I've broken down the fixed costs of the business across all 5 of the streams. For the grooming and training, we have direct costs, and for grooming, we have our supplies for the dog grooming that's going to be variable per unit. When you work out the numbers, most of the numbers come out, our break-even units are 50% of our overall capacity. Our biggest opportunity comes in the daycare where our capacity has the potential to make us a lot of money. So there's a lot of detail on these financial pages. I'm going to highlight in the middle of the page here, you see the industry averages for this business. For the gross margin, it's 95%, and we come in close at about 83%. The operating margin for the industry is 11%, and even though the number's not up there, when you do the math, ours is at 13%. And the net income percentage for the industry is 7%. And we're well over 10% for our net profit on our projections. Now, the way that we came up with the revenue, the projected revenue for this, is I took 70% of our capacity and did the numbers based on that. Over here, you see the expenses that we have. Some of them are startup expenses. Some of them are going to continue year over year. Over here, you see the assets that we had to purchase to start the business up. One of the interesting things that we've decided to purchase or start up are the kennel cameras. So the customers will be able to actually interact with their dogs while they're in daycare or boarding, including these units have a way to dispense a treat, so they can actually give their dog a treat from remote while they're interacting with their dogs. I think it's one way that we might differentiate ourselves from our competitors. On this side, we talk about our staff. We are going to have 2 certified behavioral trainers, 2 professional groomers, 2 boarding coordinators. As far as the owners are concerned, 2 of us are going to be full-time managing the business, and 2 of us are going to work part-time, take a part-time salary. And then we have the salary here for the part-time trainees, and we plan to have 8 students part-time working in the business for an overall total of 18 employees. We talk about the cash flow and balance sheet, when we look at this, our goal is to take a look at the numbers and reinvest our profits back for the first 3 years of the business and figure out how we want to work with the funds after that, once we have a better handle on how the business is going to operate. So, in order for us to start up, we need $50,000. That's for the construction costs, that's for the supplies, that's for the equipment, that's for the technology that we need to buy. In order to do that, we looked at a small business loan, and we can get a small business loan to pay back over 10 years with a $560 monthly payment, an interest rate of 6.25%, and an APR of 731, including fees. And so now, why do we want to do this business?
So as we said, in South Florida, 125 foster care children will turn 18 and age out of the program. Of these children, 1 in 5 will be homeless for at least a day. Half of them will not have a job by the age of 24. Less than 3% will obtain a college degree. 71% of the young women will be pregnant by the age of 21. And 1 in 4 will suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. How can we hope to make an impact? First and foremost, we start endless possibilities. We give these children an avenue where they can get the power back in their lives, where they can start a career, where they can learn skills that they'll have forever. We're going to start off, as Michael had said, with hiring 8 trainees. 8 is the initial magic number. That number may change. As the business grows, we may have capacity for more. As turnover rates, we don't know what the turnover rates will be, so that will also determine how many children we're able to fully train. Of these children, as we had said with the selling of the 5 dogs, they will receive a scholarship for college. So once they're done with their training, they will go to college if they choose to. And they can study whatever they like. There's no restrictions on what they study. So they get a college degree, they can continue working with us, or they can go off on their own, but at least they have the ability to sustain themselves for a lifetime. The other option is school isn't for everyone. So those children that choose not to go to school but show an entrepreneurial spirit or have shown responsibility and maturity, we will help them start a franchise of endless possibilities, a mobile franchise. And we will give them the tools that they need in order to be successful. And we will also help them fund it with a payback program. We know we're not going to be able to help every single foster child, but through the scholarships that we're offering, we're going to be able to reduce the number that don't go to college. Then with these young women, by giving them the opportunity to be self-sufficient and for them to be able to have careers and salaries that they could sustain themselves, they may not have to move in with the first guy they meet. So we're hoping to reduce the pregnancy percentages that are out there. And for those suffering from PTSD, they work with these dogs, they receive therapy by working with these dogs. So we're hoping that the long-term effects of the PTSD that they have will not be as significant. By doing this, we have already provided these children with endless possibilities. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay, so we have 8 minutes.
I'll go first. No, that was really great. I feel like you have a model that could actually happen. This could be a win if you guys decide to really do this. I do have a few questions though. When it came to the cost of what it would take for you to start, you mentioned washer, dryer, computer, desk, and the camera. But have you visited your competitors?
Yes.
Because your competitors who have these shops have more than that. They have like a realistic version of the outdoors indoors and what that's going to cost you to recreate, in addition to grooming products and all these other issues or liability potential issues that you may have to deal with per, dog that comes in when it comes to your B2C client, right? So that's something to.
We have gone to that level of detail. We in our numbers, we actually have the asphalt to make it look real. We have the construction cost that goes into exactly that. Our cost, we have it down to how much each shampoo will cost per dog. So we went out and we researched from our competitors how many ounces they use of shampoo, of conditioner for the pets, and so forth. So we did go into that level of detail.
Okay. So that's gonna be all in here, which is great. I'll take a look. My other question is in regards to the foster care children, 16 to 18. Do you know what the legal responsibilities are? Will the foster system allow you to reach out to these, young men and women? What's the actual process? Because being that they're living in foster care, I'm sure there's transportation issues, and I'm sure there's also legal issues as to what they can do when. Has that been discussed?
Yes,
Okay.
actually we did. Our professor's good. She's grinding us. So yes, we did actually address both of those issues. I have spoken to different organizations. We also I spoke to an attorney to find out what the legal ramifications were of hiring a foster care child within that age group. Yes, we can hire them so far as we have to have written legal consent from the foster care parent or the program that they're in.
Okay.
And as far as their transportation, you will see on our financials that we are offering them bus passes. It is their responsibility to use those bus passes. If they lose the bus passes, they need to purchase them.
Also location.
And our location, we also set it in an area where it's close enough that the children can reach us easily.
Okay, that is awesome. Last question, the scholarship, is it a full scholarship? Is it a partial scholarship? Have you selected a school that this would be designated to? Because, you said every 5 dogs, it would be the one scholarship. But that depends on, financially which school they go to. The
Correct.
prices are different.
Absolutely, the school's Miami-Dade.
Okay.
And as far as the scholarship, we would like to make it a full scholarship, but we need to go further into the details of seeing exactly what the cost is going to be and exactly how much we're going to make and sustain the cost of the service dogs.
One key thing on the service dog training, it takes about 2 years to fully train a service dog. So you won't see any revenue in our financials that has anything to do that you see there with the service dog.
Okay.
Because by the time we get these dogs trained, the cost, the price, all of that stuff is going to fluctuate. And so we know that the revenue could be very good. And so we just need to work out the numbers that work for that.
The police department have retired dogs that are trained, which would cut down on that time as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. We didn't know that.
That's awesome.
So that's great feedback. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know. I certainly want to commend you too as well. I think that's awesome. I think it's a real good, viable business opportunity that you have. And I think you've done quite a bit of work in sort of fleshing it out and seeing what's there. There are a couple of points that I also would underscore what Anna said, because I certainly agreed on the competition side of it. I'm not sure if we can just sit and, a lot of stuff will come to you. I think the competition has been doing a lot of stuff, and I think it's useful to check in on that too as well. And I know you had a list of all of that. One of the things I wanted to talk about is developing the foster care students, because the background, I'm not sure what sort of background they're coming to you with, and it's almost as if you need additional professional development or training for these people that would not be just the regular, let me hire somebody off the road, they're expected to work to this level. But I wasn't sure if you've built in any additional sort of professional training or anything else, psychological or anything else that would be required for this level of persons.
Well, I did speak to a mental health specialist. She's actually an advisor at South Miami Senior High, and she works with a lot of foster care children. I also spoke to Rosa Maria Plasencia from Amigos for Kids and Marcel Rivas of US Kids Work. And I was told, basically, you're absolutely right. These children will come with all types of different needs and requirements, but that's one of the main reasons why we selected to work with dogs, because research has shown that working with the dogs helps deal with a lot of these issues. And also it gives the child a link to want to go back because of the relationship they've built with those dogs that are being trained. Not to work with us, but to work with the dogs, because they create that bond. With the dogs, the child doesn't have to talk. They don't have to open up. It's a slow transition. The same thing as the dog. When they first get there, the dog is scared. We don't know if it's been abused. We don't know what it's gone through. So definitely they will grow together. We will not be providing any kind of psychological support or anything like that. We are going to have professional staffers that it would be a good idea, to your point, to maybe give them some kind of psychological training on dealing with foster children. That we haven't incorporated, but that's some very good feedback.
Thank you.
I have other questions, but I want to leave some time. So you can tell us
No, you can go ahead. I just have one comment, so go ahead and ask your question.
Geez,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Again, I commend you. I think this is a great idea. The comment that I had is maybe you have the foster care piece, but I would also even like you to bring in the vet piece, the veterans. The veterans
We were
piece.
going to do that, and the
Because-
professor has suggested
Because that is a perfect fit for this, because you can even have vets come in and volunteer, not pay them. And that would be another opportunity to do the social entrepreneurship piece that's free, because a lot of vets just need somewhere to go. And they could come in as volunteers, and that would, I think, even add more value to your company.
That's excellent, because we had thought about, when we were talking about donating the service dogs to those who in need, we had thought, and the professor had mentioned, to work with the vets.
Right.
So definitely that was something we were going to do.
And
but
a lot of
your
vets
suggestion of
have
bringing them in,
service
they
dogs,
have
so-
a certain discipline,
right.
and they have a certain training that they can pass on to these foster care children, which would be excellent. That's great.
Thank you.
I think our time is up.
Our time is up. Okay. Any other questions?